mean, I went over, obviously, that's when when I went over, it was like the end of the day, because I was like, oh, I'll go over in between people. When they're leaving the fields, they'll stop in and talk about their machine. But I mean, on all the other times I went by too, the amount of questions that Debbie and you were fielding was pretty crazy.
It was. Right. It's fun though. Yeah, I mean, I kind of, if it has anything to do with a gold detector or anything about gold, I just yell, Debbie, or just look at her or direct them that way, because I'm not a gold detector. We have a few people who are designated gold detectexperts, that's cool. That's their niche. It's something I know really nothing about. So, that's not all what being a detectexpert is about. But when it comes to like Equinox or Manticore, I can walk anybody through that over the phone, almost any question they would have, So, and thankfully, most of the questions I have to say were about the Manticore or the Equinox, two of certainly the most popular models that we carry. So, good thing I know those really well.
Right. Right.
Yep.
And that's something that Miguel and I talked about, said, boy, Garrett, we really need to hire a Debbie, like Debbie that can just go to all these. Because it would be amazing to have someone like Debbie that goes to all these events and just sets up and does that, because it's a great service.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, and a lot of people probably don't know this, but she's got the philosophy that somebody is at the tent the entire time. I know nothing against you guys at Garrett. I know you guys get to go out and hunt. All the manufacturers do, but, Debbie's idea of customer service is this booth needs to be open the whole time. We need to be here for end users, even if they're swinging a different brand. It doesn't matter, because we all kind of familiarize ourselves a little bit with other brands. And if somebody is, looking for Garrett or Fisher or or XP, and no one happens to be at the tent, at least she can be back there and say, is there something I can loan you in the meantime, or just help them out with the machine that they have. She might know enough about it to help them out. So that's really, I admire that customer service a lot, because, not everyone wants to be in the same place all day, but she rocks it. She does really well with that.
She really does. She really does. And I'm really still waiting to hear. I'm hoping that we can get Debbie and MindLab at my event coming up in November. And I know that, we've added American Digger Magazine will be there doing the second day hunt. And I know that he spoke, or I think either Anita or Butch spoke with Debbie. So I'm really hoping we can get y'all there. It'd be great if you could come down to Texas, and still working on trying to get Miss Treasure Vortex co-host Amanda there as well. So we'll see how it all plans out. It would be fun. Yeah. It would be a blast.
It would be fun. I love events. I mean, I know you guys probably go to even more than I do. I'm envious, because I usually only go to the ones in the Northeast, because we've got detectexperts in different spots all over the country. So it's kind of hard for me to justify going to like California or something when we've got somebody in California. So, but it's great to be able to go to the events I do get to go to with Debbie, and, spend time getting to know her, and obviously meeting people in person that I've never met in person before and have talked to for years online. It's always a great experience.
Right. And also just keep in mind, folks, that Stef also is a sales rep for the Digger's Den, as well as I am. And if you have any questions, needing help with getting some metal detector or metal detecting supplies, especially because she specializes with the MindLab and is the Techspert, be sure and reach out to her. I know she would be happy to help you with any of that and your questions. So be sure to do that. She's my sister Digger's Den rep.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Now, Brian's a good guy. He treats us well. And
he sure does.
Been with him for a long time. I've been with him for over 3 years now. Do you believe that? Time just flies. I can't believe I've been with him. Yeah. And you've been with him for quite a bit longer than that, I believe.
Right.
At least a year or two longer than
5 years. Yeah, I think about 5 years now.
When you have a good deal going, you stay put. When you have a dealer that treats you as well as Brian does, you don't go anywhere, So.
Right. Brian's amazing. And, we've been talking about events. Let's talk about that eyeball thing that happened. We don't want to give away too much because I know you got a video out about bone, and I'm sure Amanda and I are in that video. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
But, yes, ma'am. Both of you are, and Miguel, too.
Yep. And Miguel. So can you tell us a little bit about that little fun experience and your eyeballs weren't working very well that day?
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind spoiling it for people who are going to watch it because I did something kind of funny with the footage to really dramatize how dim I was in that moment. So hopefully this will actually prompt people to go and watch it, even though I'm going to spoil it. But so we're out digging at one of the sites for bone, just the four of us. It's just me, you two, and Miguel. And just that really, and that's kind of cool at an event because you don't get like those small group hunt feels at events. Usually you're surrounded by hundreds of people. So that was kind of cool.
But I got to time out on that story though. Because we were at a field that all the other detectorists were allowed to be at. So it wasn't a private permission one at all. It was
No, you're right to put an asterisk there because people I guess got confused with
I was expecting when we
pulled it was a bone permission,
I was expecting us to pull in and see like 10 other cars, and there weren't. I'm like, whoa, this is awesome.
I saw people slow down a couple times, like they were going to come in and then didn't and stuff, or maybe that was the second place that we went to, which was also a bone site, But in any case, we were out there. We knew that a couple of years ago, you guys and a bunch of other people had already smashed it, but we figured because you did so well, nobody ever gets it all. So we went there. And right off the rip, I found something really cool, so I won't spoil that. But the eyeball thing, let me just preface this with, I'm looking through a viewfinder, and it's a huge, wicked glare, and it's so bright out that day. It was a beautiful sunny day. I get a really weird trace on my manticore, loud and proud signal, dug down about 10 or 12 inches, and I see a little chrono bell at the bottom. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so exciting. Reach for it, pick it up, and I'm rubbing it off, clean it up. Later on in the day, I kind of, by mistake, swung over the hole again. I didn't realize I was in that same lane. Got the same similar trace on the manticore, and sure as anything, I left one. So I shouldn't have done that, but it was funny. This will kind of maybe prompt people to watch the video. I don't know, but you can kind of very clearly see what I didn't see the first time around. And it's so funny looking back at it now. And, that night just playing the footage of the initial recovery back at the hotel, I said, you can see that plain as day. I just reached for something that looks like a rock and blew right past a beautiful crocodile. Like, what? I don't know how I did that, but yeah, my eyes, I guess, were not the best, or they weren't that day, but.
And it was hilarious because
it was so
texted
funny.
Me a photo.
I made fun of myself really bad in the video.
I could see it. I could see it right away.
So obvious.
When you took that screenshot of that photo, and I could see it. It was so obvious.
I took a screenshot to show these two the next day, and I'm like, you guys have to see.
Yeah, but it's funny because it goes to show you, even in mudlarking and other things, how you can be looking. Sometimes it has to do with your vantage point as well. I mean, you're looking at something that probably had dirt on it.
Blind, but yeah,
right.
How do you fit something big and round in the hole? I don't know, because we're always looking for round. So it's
right. We are.
Our eyes should be trained by now, but it was just funny. It must have been. I'm going to blame it on the glare and just focusing on my viewfinder because. As or anybody who makes videos, if you're not looking through the viewfinder, 95% of the time you're going to be out of the frame. And it's a really easy mistake to make, especially when you first start. I mean, as you become a lot more adept at YouTube.
I still do that because I'm trying to look at the thing to see and zoom in and all this, and
No, I just try to make sure I'm always looking through the viewfinder, but now I know sometimes that's to my detriment. So I'm going to be a lot more vigilant about kind of just peeking off to the side too and be like, did I miss anything? And use my real eyeballs instead of the viewfinder. But it did make for a really funny video, a nice funny point in the video, which is cool because it gave me kind of an extra minute or so of footage too to be talking about it and making fun of myself and stuff. And, I don't think either of us probably got a lot of footage that day, or if anybody else was filming, I don't think we got a ton of footage, but the footage I did get, I really wanted to release, especially, just right on the heels of Bone. If I go to an event, I try to release that footage immediately after the event, so it's really relevant, especially if people were there. They want to see if they're in a video and stuff, which I totally get. So I'll always put that out right away. That went right up the top of the pipeline.
It's awesome. It's awesome. It is a good video. I tried to link, I put it in chat. It probably did not link. I can't click on it and it won't bring me to it like they used to. So that's kind of a bummer.
Is it an update or something with Spreaker?
There's a whole new
there's
chat.
An upgrade. Yeah. And we're not fond of it.
No,
but
so far, no, not fond. For those that don't know,
that's all. I'm sure that's
Yeah, can you tell everyone listening what your YouTube channel is?
Yep, it's very easy. It's Stef. My name is spelled Stef, and the second word is Diggs. Stef Diggs. I made that more complicated than it needed to be. Yeah, that's the channel. And like I said, I put out a video generally every week, usually on Monday. Because I noticed there was kind of a lull in videos, like colonial relic hunting videos on Mondays. It seemed like kind of nobody was really uploading, at least the usual suspects. Excuse me. So I said, I'm going to thank you. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll try uploading on Monday. And I noticed that the videos were performing a little better. And, I'm always looking for something additional to watch on Mondays. So I said, I'll make Mondays a little bit brighter because Monday stinks no matter where you work or what you do. Monday's never fun. So, try to spice it up a little bit.
So, Steph, you go to a lot of these events, and that was a funny story, what you just told, and I can't wait to watch the video. But I know that you've got all kinds of stories that have happened to you while you're out detecting, while you're hanging with other friends that you detect with. Any specific story that just sticks out in your mind that you'd like to share that's maybe funny, or maybe it's strange, or something scary, spooky? I don't know. Anything you'd like to share?
Sorry, I'm coughing right now. That's what I was doing. Apologies, everybody. Hopefully I wasn't blasting in people's ears, but a couple of things come to mind that happened recently, and they both have to do with shoe buckles. I'll go into the one that people probably already know about first, and then work into one that almost nobody knows about. So the one that a lot of people probably are aware of, there hasn't been a video that I've put up about this yet. It's probably not due out for another 3, 4, 5 weeks even. But I found another virgin cellar hole, which has been really fortuitous for me because that's the second or third virgin cellar hole I found not too far from me in the last 6 months. And we all know that's, well, for those who don't live in New England, that's like finding a unicorn. It's very tough to find sites unless you're on private permissions, whereas I'm usually on town land. It's hard to find virgin cellar holes that are on town land or just places that are, public work that you can detect. So that was really awesome. And the way I knew this place is virgin is, I was digging signal after signal, and back to back, I got 2 complete shoe buckles, complete frames anyway. And the second one I dug was the most beautiful. It's huge, like late 1700s open work shoe buckle, but it was so mangled. It was completely folded over on itself. And I said, if this thing were actually more intact, it would be my best shoe buckle. And I thought, you know what? Maybe I can make it my best shoe buckle. So I reached out to JP Hunts. I know a ton of people follow him, as they well should, because he's a magician when it comes to metal. He can bend things and even a lot of times keep the original patina. I've seen a few people who do restorations that might come close to him, but his turnaround time getting this fixed up for me, I sent it to him. I dug it on the 5th, mailed it to him on the 8th, and he mailed it back on the 12th. So I had this back in my hands within 10 days. I'm actually holding it right now. Not that anybody can see, but he was so great to work with, so fast doing it. And it was awesome to be able to honor, not just the find, but also the person who wore that buckle, because I know exactly who wore it, essentially. just based on cross-referencing maps and knowing what home site I was going to. So it's really cool because